Dear prospective students, welcome to the NTU Open House 2022. My name is Hongjin. I'm the current director of the CNYSP Scholars Program of NTU. I'm going to share with you some of the information about CNYSP Scholar Program. So first of all, who is CNYSP? The program is named after the famous physicist, Professor Chen Yang, who is a Nobel laureate in physics in 1957. So the program was set after because he has a strong tie with the NTU, and the program launched in 2006. Okay, for example, we have a photo here, which is the event that Professor Yang met our CNYSP scholars at a conference dinner in honor of his 85th birthday. And this year, we're going to celebrate Professor CNYSP's 100 years birthday. So the leadership, I'm the main director from School of Physical Mathematical Science. Professor Xu Zhichuan is another deputy director. He's from Material Science Engineering, as well as Professor Zhang Baile, assistant director, who is also from School of Physical Mathematical Science. You may have known that NTU has launched new curriculum structures for 2025, so-called Interdisciplinary Collaborative Core, ICC, Experimental and Collaborative Learning, ECL, as well as internship for all the undergraduate students, including scholars. And we'll also have a future-ready graduates and lifelong learners. So all these new initiatives is aimed to creating a very broad and collaborative learning experiences for all the undergraduate students from NTU. And for CNYSP scholars, we also integrate some of these courses, so make sure that all the scholars can learn a lot of things beyond your majors. What is the rationale for a CNYSP Scholar Program? The main idea, the main selling point is research and innovation. The purpose of CNYSP program is to cultivate those young, best engineers and scientists, and to serve our societies. And so we'll put research innovation as a key element for the Scholar Program. And of course, you also have your core expertise, because as a student, you are a student of a certain school, for example, chemistry, physics, or biology, computer science. Okay. But beyond that, you are experiencing multidisciplinary learnings, because our curriculum structures are different from our normal NTU students. And most importantly, which attracts a lot of CNYSP scholars, is international exposures. I'll elaborate that point later. And the key features can be summarized on this slide. First is integrated science education, which is very interdisciplinary co-teachings. For example, for year one, our course structures will be very different from the students from your majors. So as a scholars, you will learn biology, chemistry, math, physics, and climate changes. Okay, so they can see that no matter which school you are, you will take all these courses. And for year two, you have the option to replace quantum with a broadening and deepening electives. Okay, so that means we'll provide a course for quantum. If you're interested, you can take it. If not, then you can take other broadening and deep elective courses as a replacement. And we have a special making and tinkering courses, which is a part of the research experiences. So this course is a team formed from different backgrounds. For example, we have a 4 students team from chemistry, physics, biology, or computer science, and doing project together and making a prototype equipments or devices. We'll show that later. Research innovation centricities. For example, we have many courses specially designed for our scholars, starting from year 1 all the way actually to year 4. Okay. For example, year 1, we teach you how to do research. So basically, we have this very important and useful course called Introduction to Research Methodologies. And also have maker and tinker between year 1 and year 2. And from year 2 and 3, we have a research attachments. That means you spend 1 academic year with one professor and doing research and the supervision by that professor. Any professor of NTU you can choose. Okay. And starting from year 3, you have overseas and or maybe local FYP project, depending on your own interests. Okay. Most of the scholars will choose to do FYP in overseas universities. Okay. Up to 8 months for College of Science and 5 months for College of Engineering students. We also have a humanities-centric courses. We teach you how to write across the disciplines. We teach you what is the ethics. Okay. And these are also very important courses that teach you guys how to do research and in a correct way. And many of our scholars, when they finish the undergraduate study, they want to continue to pursue the PhD study. And the PhD, most of them will go to overseas, and half of them will do PhD locally, NTU or AUS. And we'll do all what we can do to support them. Okay. The benefit of CNY Young Scholars Program is summarized like this. Most scholars are awarded with the Nanyang scholarships, which is the most prestigious scholarship in NTU. Okay. But this is not by default, because some of our students, applicants may also be awarded with other scholarships like AUS Merit, or some DSO scholarship, A-star scholarship, or MINDEF or DSTA scholarships. Okay. That means you're awarded that scholarship, you can still join our senior scholar programs. And in the future, I may want to say that in the future, it's also possible that even you are not awarded with a scholarship, but you are very interested in doing research and very interested in joining our senior scholar program, we're also welcome and would like to consider. Okay. And highlighted in this yellow box is the benefit. Okay. Full coverage of the subsidized tuition fees after tuition grants. Okay. That means you don't have to pay the tuition fee, you still receive an allowance. A living allowance is 6,500 per academic year, per year. That means 4 years times 4. Okay. And you also have accommodation allowance, which is up to 2,000 per academic year for the whole stay. And basically, you also don't have to pay. Basically, don't have to pay, but you may pay a little bit more if you, depending on the type of the rooms you choose. And we also provide chances for our scholars to travel abroad. Okay, overseas travel grants is 5,000 for overseas program. This overseas programs includes research attachments and final year projects. Okay, and also will provide a computer allowance for 1,750, and we also have some allowance for the attending overseas conferences. Okay, bonding. Okay, do we have a bonding for the Nanyang scholarship? There's no bonding. Okay, it's free. Okay. And then, but if you there's only one exception, is that if you are Singapore PR or international students and is sponsored by the MOE tuition grants, then you have a 3-year bond applied. Okay. And who can join? Basically, all the students from College of Science and College of Engineers can join our CNY Scholar Program. That means when you apply a certain school of these 2 colleges, you can also indicate your interest to CNY Scholar programs. Okay. It does not apply for programs with a second major or business minor. It also does not apply to double degree programs and also integrated program for Bachelor of Science and Master of Science. There's some reasons behind, because if you have to do second majors, 2 majors across 2 schools, that means you basically spend all your time with the study and no time to involve the major key element of a senior scholar program, which is research, okay, and innovations. Okay. How about the curriculum structures? How they're unique? Okay. Left-hand side is basically is a course from the NTU, especially the new NTU 2025. Right side is our own uniqueness, which is a senior uniqueness. Okay. So let's look at right side. So we have a senior scholar core course, as I mentioned just now. You have to study in year 1 biology, chemistry, climate change, mathematics. We have 2 mathematical courses and physics. Okay. And we have a research opportunity, including courses like Introduction to Research Year 1, Semester 1, and also have a research attachments, which is 1 academic year, and research lab, and the professor's lab. And we also have a Maker and Tinker, which is a team project. And we also have overseas research attachments, and also learning trips, which is here. And the left-hand side is common to all NTU students. Okay, if you're interested in applying to NTU, you probably know this. Okay. And an overview of the curriculum structure for, let's say, for College of Science students. Okay, as you can see that the red highlights are the core courses, core majors for all scholars. And after year 1, basically you take the major courses from your school. But then we still have some courses, especially for senior youngs, especially the pink one, the dark pink one, which is research courses. Okay, which is wait, let me use the, I don't have a laser. Okay, which is research attachments, Maker and Tinkering. Okay, these are the research attachments, research courses designed only for senior scholars. Okay, and this is a local and overseas final year projects. Okay, and quite similar to College of Engineering, also have the core courses for senior scholars. Okay, and this pink one is for research. This for research. This is for research, and this for research attachments, and overseas final year project, as well as overseas learning trip. So this one, overseas learning trip, is usually at end of year 1. Okay, depending on the COVID situation, last 2 years it has been suspended, but most likely be resumed in this year. So that's the overview of the Senior Scholar Program. Now I'll give you some highlights, especially what is the most attractive uniqueness of Senior Scholar programs. I believe you guys will be very interested to know in this. Okay, first one, what are the research attachments as mentioned just now? Basically, you attach to any NTU lab of your own choices. Okay, you like doing, and what I want to say is that this is across the disciplinary, across the schools. Let's say if you're a biology students, you can do the research attachment in the chemistry school. Okay, or if you're physics students, you can do this research attachment in an engineering or microelectronics lab. Okay, this is definitely allowable and also encouraged. And you learn how to conduct experiments. You'll be mentored by a senior member in that group. You learn from him how to conduct experiments, how to analyze the data, and how to write an academic report. Actually, you have been taught how to write academic report in year 1, semester 1. So now this is more for practice. And you also learn how to present your research. And Maker and Tinkering is conducted in special term in year 1. Okay, it's a group of 2 to 4 students. Usually it's 4 students from different schools, different expertise, different backgrounds. And you'll be taught on, especially for 3D printings, on how to design the 3D printings, the models for 3D printings. The course content is like design, make, and build something very interesting and usual, and perhaps could be useful for real applications. Okay, you're going to use your science engineering concepts you have learned before. Okay, so it's very much like teamwork and brainstorming. You can build all your own projects, and you can also just pick up the courses we offered by the courses. But when you design your own courses, the whole process will be mentored by someone. Okay, by mentors, give you an idea that whether this course, what part it can be improved, what should be done further. Okay, and you learn how to solve the real life problems. Most of the project actually is real life problems, especially it can be applied to Singapore's and environment, sustainability, food, water, pollution, things like that. Okay, in a multidisciplinary team, and you're going to develop your hands-on and practical expertise, which will be important when you apply jobs after graduations. Okay, this is some examples of the projects our scholars have done before. Okay, this is making flying observation drone. Okay, and this is a 3-dimensional mimic of the, I can't remember, of the sound system using the LED. Okay, and for example, have a cell counting microscope counting how many cells in a biological samples. Okay, there's many more. Okay, this is just 6 examples. But anyway, all the projects, you can see that it's very practical and hands-on. And sometimes these projects attract interest from industries, and then industry people come down to see and maybe can provide some feedback how we can further improve and make a prototype. Okay, research is a key element, as I mentioned. So our students, most of our students are very keen to doing research and even continue as a PhD. So they are really putting a lot of efforts in doing research together with the professors, either in NTU or overseas. Okay, and naturally, publication is the results, is an outcome of the research. Okay, these are 4 examples of paper, journal publications from our scholars. Okay, so some are first authors, some are second authors. Okay, and in addition to this important outcome they can put in the CV, they also get cash awards. Okay, so depending whether you're first author, second author, or equal first author, or is a co-author, you'll receive gold, silver, bronze awards, and you receive cash. Okay, for example, we have 3,000 cashes awards for first authors, and also provide some allowances, bench fees to the supervisors. Okay, which is 1,000 for semesters. And the number of publications is increasing since 2015, because at that time we started overseas programs. And last 2 years, the number is dropping a little bit because of the COVID situation, because a lot of students cannot go overseas. They have to do local FYP, or the FYP is affected. But since we're going to resume the FYP, already started to resume, then the number of publication could be increased. So this number is not a requirement. Sometimes students may get confused whether we need to publish a paper. The answer is no. You don't have to really publish a paper, but publishing paper is a very important and strong evidence of your research experience, and will be useful, especially when you go to apply PhD in overseas universities in the future. Okay. Conferences findings. We encourage you guys to attend and present your research results in international or local conferences. We will provide funding support, financial support. Okay. Overseas local conference. This is examples of our scholars attending overseas and local conference. Sometimes they receive post awards or young research awards. Actually, I get some feedback from some conference organizers that they're really impressed by the presentation given by undergraduate students. Okay, so we also feel proud of that. And overseas funding projects. As I mentioned, that starts from 2016 and has been extremely popular for our scholars. Okay, and this is particularly unique to our CN scholars. That means you don't have to take courses. You just spend all the time doing research with a professor you choose, either University of MIT, Imperial College London, or ETH Zurich. So these are top universities most scholars are interested in. Of course, there are also many other universities like Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford, Colorado, for example, right? And Germany, Sweden, Japan, Canada. Okay. And we also encourage students to take some Asian universities, even including India, Taiwan, Korea, and Japan. China. Okay, there's a lot of famous and universities like Tsinghua, Peking University in China. You can also choose to do a project there. Okay, examples of overseas funding projects like this. For example, this student did a University of Cambridge. He did a project of multi-component synthesis of ammonia boronic esters by visible light mediated olefin. This kind of a biology, chemistry. It's more chemistry and biochemistry. Okay. And she did do the project, Peking University in China, and she did in Australia, Queen's University of Technology, QUT, in Brisbane. Okay, and Emily did OFIP in USA, Carnegie Mellon University, USA, which is also a famous universities. And in the meantime, you can also choose local FIP. Okay. Or do remote OFIP. Remote OFIP especially applies during the COVID situations. We still provide some strong support and financial support if you choose to local FIP and remote OFIPs. Okay. Especially for accommodations, allowances, also project fundings. Okay. So overseas learning trip is conducted at the end of year 1. That we spend about a week or 10 days, about 10 students. For example, this is group photos that students have done this learning trip before. They can organize a learning trip. This is usually organized by the Scholars Club. Okay, that means you guys organize the events. Probably it's just your senior members organize for you. And you can go to many places. You can go to Sweden, Geneva. You can go to Michigan, USA, or China, or Sweden. Okay, there's also in France and in Australia. Okay, so this will be very enriching and engaging events. It's not just for sightseeing, because you really listen to talks, seminars, visit to the labs, and talking to those famous professors, okay, in the world. Okay, probably you heard their name before somewhere in the news or media, but now you have chances to meet them face to face. Okay. Alumni. Okay. So being a senior scholar in 4 years, you'll be a permanent senior scholar. Okay. So that means you automatically join the senior scholars program alumni. Okay. So we'll keep the tie between the current scholars and alumni, so that we'll have a lot of interactions between them. Okay. So these are recent career and graduate studies for our class of 2021, which is just the current batch, and some examples of the university that they're doing postgraduate programs. Okay, about 36% of students will do PhD. Okay, and 49, nearly half of students, half of the scholars will work or have already secured a job. Okay, some job is local, some is overseas. Okay, and the rest will do different things. Then maybe take a long break first and looking for a job. This is 4%. 4% maybe just 1 or 2. Okay, probably just 1 student. Applying for a postgraduate program, which means it's applying. It was not ready for applying immediately after graduation, but they will apply after break of after a semester. Okay, and so as you can see that half of those scholars after graduation will go to industry, go to work, and nearly half of them will continue to the further PhD studies, overseas or local. And some examples of industry alumni. Okay, Laurencia, she is class of 2020 from computer science. She's working Johnson & Johnson. And Unava, he was from materials engineering, class of 2020. He's process integration engineer working in Micron Technology, which is a very important semiconductor companies in Singapore. And Jia Yong, he graduated from Environmental Earth System and Science, ESS, which is a very latest class. He's working in National Environmental Agency, which is obviously local. And Brenda, she graduated from CBE, Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering, which is also latest class. She's a manager in a Procter. I'm not quite familiar with this company. Okay. And some of our students have pursued academic career and become professors like us, directors. Okay, these are examples of our early batch alumni who is currently a professors in different universities, Shanghai Jiao Tong Universities, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and Johns Hopkins University. And I want to mention that the Lenny probably is the second batch of a senior scholar, and she studied in Holland, in Germany, and then come back to PAP, come back to NTU Physics and Applied Physics. And she's currently assistant professor. She's a 9-year assistant professors in NTU. And as I mentioned just now, nearly half of our scholars will go to graduate studies. They go to University of Waterloo, Stanford, MIT, Michigan, Northwestern, and UIUC, Cambridge, and EPFL. Okay, and I want to mention that what helps them a lot to apply to get award, to get this graduate study offer, is because of the conduct FYP in overseas universities. So we do have examples that you did FYP in Harvard, and you got offer from Harvard, or got offer from MIT. You did FYP in Cambridge, and then you apply a graduate study in Oxford, and you get it. Okay. Achievements. So our scholars are very proactive, are very participating in all kind of competitions. For example, we have this Singapore 100 Women in Technology 2021. This is one of our winners. And the different things. Global Undergraduate Awards 2021, highly commended in Earth and Environmental Sciences. Okay, Hui Wen. And also have a Lee Kuan Yew gold medalist from CBC. Okay. And we also have another gold medalist. Okay, Tan Ping Da from Electrical and Electronic Engineering. Okay. So these are achievements from our scholars. And you will be accommodated in this high-end halls in NTU. And this is a very new hall called Pioneer and Crescent Halls. And most likely you'll be accommodated in this halls. Okay. It's really like a garden, probably you see from TV or you have come down before. And we have a new Yunnan gardens renovated very recently. And this also becomes a place of attractions in Singapore. You see a lot of tourist buses come to campus. And basically that's all I want to say. We provide some more information from the CN Scholars websites, Instagrams or Facebooks. Or if you have more questions you want to ask us, you can just drop your comments or questions in this Instagram and Facebook. And thank you very much for your attention.